here's the thing, before I get into it, what annoys me about this, I mean, it doesn't bother me now, but when I wasn't okay to talk about it because I was still very hurt, I guarantee you, no one ever asks Batista, so what happened with that vampire girl? But my whole wrestling career after that, I have to answer to that. And it's like, how come no one asks him? How come no one wants to know his side of the story? And I think that's crap, but whatever. So he was dating Melina at the time. And I got to know him and I felt he was my friend. I liked him a lot. And they were just kind of having like relationship problems. And because he didn't come out so good in those relationship problems, I mean, she was my friend, of course I was there for her. So she was venting to me one day after a show. And then I opened the door and he was like listening on us. And I was like, ew. So that didn't help his situation and how I viewed him. So I was real short with him after that because that's my homegirl. Like, ew, gross. And so then he started getting like annoyed, like, oh, it's like you and Melina have the same mind. And it's like, no, dude, like you're a dick to my girlfriend, like not cool. Like I'm gonna have her back. And so next thing I know, I get called into Johnny Ace's office and there's a bold Batista. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on right now? Because to me, it wasn't like even that big of a deal. Like it wasn't like I was like causing trouble or whatever. I just was short with him and like maybe not as nice to him anymore. And so Johnny Ace was like, oh, you know, I can't have two talents not getting along, blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me what's going on? And so I looked at Dave and I was like, can you tell me what's going on? Like, what is the problem? And then he was like, it's like you and Melina have the same mind. And he just went on this whole thing and he wasn't really making sense of what the problem was. And so he stormed out. And then I looked at Johnny Ace and like a little bitch, I started crying. I thought, I thought he was my friend. That's how like whatever. And he was like, look, just go up to him, shake his hand. Like, we don't have to be best friends here. Like, and he seemed, he felt bad for me. He saw that like, I was upset, like, cause you know, whatever. And so I would go up to Batista and I would go to shake his hand like we're supposed to. And he wouldn't shake my hand. And I'm like, well, what the F am I supposed to do? Like, like whatever. And so Johnny Ace kind of followed up with me a few weeks later. I was like, dude, he won't shake my hand. And what he started to do, he would like in catering, shake everyone's hand at the table but me. And so I'd wait for him to walk and I'd go, hi, Dave. I don't think you saw me. Hope you have a good day. And so I got in trouble for that. And then Johnny, I was like, dude, he won't shake my hand. What am I supposed to do? He goes, look, I'm good. And no, he goes, just try again. And then I tried again. It didn't happen. Then WrestleMania weekend came. My sister at the time, she was in high school. So I felt really fancy. I got to fly her in. And because we used to always watch wrestling together growing up. So it was really cool. And the way they had it was the hotel, they had a separate elevator that we can use so that the fans couldn't have access to us. So I was in the elevator and it was a couple people, wrestlers in there with their family and Dave. And so I was like, oh, great. Because I was the first one to get off the elevator. I was like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what am I supposed to say? So I said, okay, bye, everyone. Have a good day. And then as the doors were closing, he went, douchebag. And I was like, come on. So Johnny Ace asked me once again, how are things going? And I told him what had happened. I said, look, if he wants to be a dick to me, fine. But to do it in front of my family and the wrestlers' families, like, come on, like, why even do that? He goes, look, I'm going to tell him I told you just to stay away from him. Just stay away from him. I said, great. That's great. So next thing I know, there's this wrestler that was never, I don't think he ever made it to like the main, like he was on the road, but nothing really came of him. And he was messing around with one of the divas and she was my friend. I don't want to name names. She was my friend. And then he was just being a dick and the Diva Search girls, he was like all hitting on them. So being Shelly, he was sitting at another table. My friend was sitting with me. She's all upset. And I go, hey, so-and-so, why don't you come sit over here with your girlfriend? You know, your girlfriend over here? And he got so mad. And so later I went up to him again. I was like, dude, she's crying over there. And then I remember Tommy Dreamer goes, Shelly, just walk away. Just walk away, Shelly. And so I was like, what? And I noticed that the wrestler was like clenching his jaw. And I'm like, this can hit me? F him. So then the day goes on. Kevin and I are going to go on live TV next. And I see that wrestler while we're waiting, whisper over to Batista. And I'm like, oh, shoot, it's on. And so Batista goes, hey, Shelly, how about you mind your business when you're in catering? And then I took a second. I thought, I have an action figure coming out. I performed at WrestleMania. I guess this is a good day to get fired. And I said, last I checked, you weren't even in catering. So why don't you mind your own fucking business? And then everyone just was like, it was high school. And he got up and he got in my face. He's like, F you, you're nothing in this business. You don't put asses in seats. You're nothing. And I said, honestly, real calm. I said, honestly, I don't give a shit what you think of me. And he just like looked around and everyone was like, oh, and I could tell it embarrassed him. And so he was like, F you. And he was pushing his middle finger in my face. So I was like, please hit me. Just hit me. And so he was just pushing his middle finger. So I slapped his hand out of my face. I said, no, F you. A real man would have pulled me aside and chewed me out. So you want to pop the boys? F you. Like I said, I don't give a shit what you think of me. And he storms off. And I remember Punk and Domino were right there. Deuce and Domino. And I was about to go on live TV. So I was like, oh, my hair, I need to put some hairspray. And so I went, and then Punk's like, no. And he grabs me because he's thinking I'm going after Batista. And I was like, I need hairspray. And so I get ready. I go out there. That day, Ozzy Osbourne's band was playing. And I had been hanging out with the band a little bit, and they really dug my vibe. And so after Ozzy left, the other band guys said that they were going to stay to watch me and Kevin perform. And so I remember I was like, dude, I'm going to get fired. And so I remember really playing up to the crowd to where they started chanting my name. And I know I'm not supposed to do that as a heel, but I didn't care because I was like, this is it. I'm probably going to get fired. And so I ate it up. And when Kevin won the match, I remember I almost started crying because I knew that was it for me. I knew it. I felt it. And so I go in the back. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a point. The reason why I knew I was going to get fired was because right, like minutes before we're going live, Johnny Ace comes out with Batista. He goes, what happened? And I told him, he goes, did that happen? He goes, I don't know. Or he goes, did you flip her off? He goes, I don't know, but now I am. And I'm like, God, like a little kid. And so I was like, dude. And so he walks away, and I'm thinking Johnny Ace is going to be like, oh, like, come on. He goes, how dare you talk to top male talent that way? I was like, what? He goes, how dare you? I said, I don't care who you are. If you come at me like that and disrespect me, I'm going to stick up for myself. So I got to go do my job right now so we can continue this conversation when I get back. So that's why I knew I was done. And I'll never forget, like in the back, one of my friends, I saw them and I was like, dude, I'm getting fired. And they're like, no way. I could feel it. And so went home. I remember I called my grandma from the hotel room and I was like, I'm probably gonna get fired. And then I went back. At the time I was still living in Kentucky. And then Johnny Ace called me and he was like, oh, creative doesn't have anything for you anymore, but keep in touch with us. And I started laughing. He goes, why are you laughing? I go, that's not why. He goes, well, you never know. I go, you know what? If this is how you guys conduct business, I don't want to come back here. So thank you anyways. And I hung up on him. And I remember my roommate was like, what just happened? I was like, I got fired. And so that's the Batista story. But it was rough. And then when Twitter hit, and I've been on Twitter since it first started. So a couple years it was like becoming more of a thing, not what it is today, but more popular. Dave joined Twitter. And at that time I had some more healing and I understood that like, it was just my time to not be there anymore because there was a lot of stuff that I experienced where I was like, I don't really think this is for me. Like, this is not my vibe. Like, because the way I looked at it, my main thing was if I'm not a part of like the shady, toxic stuff, but I just like look the other way, then I should be fine because I'm not causing a problem, like whatever, aside from these people. But like, generally speaking, just seeing the shady stuff that was going on. I was just like, well, that's for them. That's their business. But when I saw that I was still getting like in trouble for not conforming, that's when I was like, dude, I don't know about this anymore. So I have had some healing and I tweeted Dave and I was like, truce. And then he wrote back, this business can do a lot to you, truce. And then on 11/11/11, I went to a red carpet premiere for the movie Immortals and he was there. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, I just want to say like positive vibes to you and like, everything, blah, blah, blah. And we had this conversation and he goes, I go, you probably think I'm crazy. He goes, oh, you must not know my mom then. And like we had this conversation, we took a picture together, and like the way I look at it now is I used to think for a long time that he was responsible for my firing. But then I remembered, dude, I told off Shawn Michaels, dude, I told off Randy Orton. Like that was the last straw. Like, and my reasoning behind telling all three of those guys off was all for me sticking up for myself. So I figured that's just not the place for me if I get punished for sticking up for myself. And by the way, something that bothers me, how come I never got a chance to go to wrestler's court? How come everyone else and their mom got to, but how come I didn't get to go do wrestler's court? How come if people have these problems with me, I wasn't allowed to go in wrestler's court? I don't get it. And that's what bothers me to this day.
I thought wrestler's court was only for SmackDown, because that's where Undertaker was and Bradshaw was. But I suppose ECW was touring with SmackDown at the time, weren't they?
Yeah. Like Melina went to wrestler's court. Like who else did?
Daivari? Not Daivari. Who was the guy who did the terrorist gimmick?
Daivari. Yeah, Daivari did go to wrestler's court.
Yeah.
Like there's people that went to wrestler's court for, like, I don't know, like some of them, like it was just like kind of like whatever stuff. But I felt like I deserve to go to wrestler's court. But I guess they felt like, just get rid of that bitch. She's just a problem. Let's just get rid of her. Creative has nothing. Yet I was on the opening credits, like, because that's the other thing too, we were taught. Like, if you're in the opening of the show, that means you're one of the main people. And I was on it multiple times. And so that's why I like Lab. Creative has nothing for me. Just say you guys think it's not working out, and I don't, whatever, but whatever.